Hello everyone, I'm TJ the Brickright and welcome to my Lego room, and today I am supremely excited. I originally thought I was going to be coming out with a Star Wars MOC today, a vehicle, a ship that I've been working on for a while that was inspired by a really awesome concept artist. Then I was going to be talking about all the entries into the Minot 2 contest that continue to come in on a very regular basis. I'm very excited to see how this works out. By the way, we only have one more week left in that contest, so make sure to get your entries in. And then some weird stuff happened. As many of you guys know, I got to go to Disneyland in February of this year, I believe it was. No, it was January. I'm sorry, it was January. And when I went in January with my brother-in-law Scott, with whom I do the podcast Raising Nerds, we got to go and we went to Galaxy's Edge and we built ourselves lightsabers. So this is my Savvy's Workshop lightsaber. I think I'm not sure if I've shown it here, but I know I've shown it to my patrons for sure. But this is my Savvy's Workshop lightsaber. It's got some dings and scratches in it now that are beloved to me and to me only. But it's fantastic. It was a really fun experience, and this is a very, very expensive lightsaber. But with these lightsabers, they actually come with crystals that change the color of the blade. So that's exactly what I did is I chose the wrong color. So when I went through, I wanted my very first lightsaber color to be green. So this is the green kyber crystal that I received. In Savvy's Workshop, they hold up a whole bunch of different kyber crystals and let you pick one. My brother-in-law, Scott, he picked the purple one, and it's a good thing he did because they didn't have the purple one available anywhere but in Savvy's Workshop, which was a little bit of a bummer. So I knew that I wanted the green one to be my very first blade. It's the color of Qui-Gon, Ahsoka, Yoda. I mean, so many amazingly good characters. But thankfully, there were some other crystals available so that you could change your lightsaber color. The only two that were available, besides they had the green ones available at Doc Ondar's, which is where you buy the extra crystals. They had red, but it was only the Darth Vader 8-ball red. So you could put these particular ones in the holocrons, and the holocron would act like a magic 8-ball. You could ask it questions and it would give you little answers. And then the other one was yellow, which I know it has a different voice in the Jedi holocrons, but I don't know what it is. So those were the three colors that I got. I got green, red, and yellow. Those were my three first kyber crystal colors. Unfortunately, when Scott got to go back, he didn't get to go to Disneyland, but he was able to go to downtown Disney on a short work trip, and they didn't have any kyber crystals. Big bummer, right? Well, my sister then, in July of this year, just last month, asked if there was anything I wanted at Galaxy's Edge because she happened to be going to Disneyland on an impromptu birthday trip for one of her friends. And she was able to pick up the other three colors of lightsaber crystals: blue, purple, and white. I was ecstatic when I found out that she had not only gotten one of the colors that I was missing, but she got all three of them. Oh my goodness. So thank you again, Tiara. You are amazing. Thank you so much for doing that. I think Scott and I, between the two of us, we ended up forcing her to fork out about $200 in Galaxy's Edge just to get us some crystals, and he got the holocrons. And I want to apologize to her. I know she got a little short on cash while she was there. I wish I would have known that. I would have sent it a little sooner. Anyway, neither here nor there. So now I have all 6 lightsaber crystals. Of course, there is a black one that acts as a red, but that one's so hard to find, and I think the cheapest price I found for one was around $300. You can buy an actual black kyber crystal from Galaxy's Edge for $300. I'm not going to buy that. No, you can get a whole nother lightsaber for that. Anyway, let's go ahead and show you then what I began to work on. So the very first thing that I did is I took each of the lightsaber crystals and traded them out in my Savvy's Workshop lightsaber. For those of you who haven't seen this before, there's actually a quick way to change out your lightsaber crystal. You can actually unscrew just the inside edges, pop off your center, and it exposes your crystal chamber. And then you can go ahead and get your crystals in there. Let's go ahead and put the green one in. Oh, of course, I'm going to struggle with this now that I'm actually recording. And that sound is the sound of your crystal being properly aligned inside the lightsaber. It even glows a little bit, but you can't really see it that well in this lighting. So that's what I did first. And then Scott mentioned something to me, and it was something that we had talked about before. And it is that, man, with these 6 lightsaber crystals, it's almost like you could build an infinity gauntlet out of lightsaber crystals. And I sat there and I'm like, that would be really cool to build an infinity gauntlet out of lightsaber crystals. Of course, I would want to do the Iron Man version, right? The Nano Gauntlet. Then, of course, I find out that the official Lego Nano Gauntlet is releasing the beginning of August. And so, of course, I had to get myself one because it was awesome. But then we came down to a really, really big problem, which is that, man, I really like both of these. I really like both of these fandoms. I like the Infinity Gauntlet, the Nano Gauntlet that Iron Man has. I really love lightsabers. I love my lightsaber crystals. There's got to be some way that I can combine these things together into something amazing. So that's exactly what I did. And now I give to you the Iron Man Infinity Saber. This is literally everything that I wanted from a combination system. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you why this is a combination right now. And that's because this isn't just an Iron Man lightsaber hilt. It actually holds a lightsaber kyber crystal on the inside. But I'm sure many of you are thinking, well, wait a minute. I thought you said this was going to be a crossover about like an infinity gauntlet and a lightsaber. And, well, did I say 1 kyber crystal? It actually holds 6 kyber crystals on the inside. So what this is eventually going to be is it's going to be basically a display piece for my kyber crystals. I'm going to have a little stand for it, and I'm going to keep my kyber crystals inside here, and you can take them out to put them in your Savvy's Workshop lightsaber, your holocron, or whatever it is. But for now, I'm just using it to hold all my kyber crystals, and I want to carry it around. That's really what I want to do. But the biggest thing is I'm going to have this on display at Brick Slopes at the end of August, which I'm very excited for. And there are a couple of awards that this could actually be in the running for, so for your consideration. So let's go ahead and go over the hilt itself before we put our kyber crystals in there. So here we have what I imagine would be an activation light. So this would turn on when the lightsaber was ready or going to be activated. It could change colors maybe, but I hadn't really gotten that far as to its total purpose, but it was some sort of an indicator light. Here is your on-off switch and the button there. You also have a safety switch down on the bottom. I should probably move this closer here for you. So you also have a safety switch here on the bottom, so it needs to have a contact from one of your fingers. Acts as like, what do they call those things when they activate? Not a biometric thing, but you know what I mean. It's like a touch sensitive. So you have it there and there to turn it on, because Tony Stark would, of course, have a safety protocol to make sure that nobody else could just grab it and use it. So if you grab it like right here and try to activate it, it won't work. It has to be specifically like that. I don't know why I went into that much detail on that, but I did. All right, so at the end here, we have a fairly simple emitter with a little bit of a thin neck coming down into those round pieces at the front. We have a very small guard-like protrusion around the outside. A straight flat lightsaber all the way from top to bottom just seemed like it wouldn't really make sense. Wasn't something that I was a fan of at the time when I was designing this, for sure. So we've got the indicators, we've got our little safety trigger on the back there. These pieces right here are actually some of the metallic silver Lego pieces, so you can see they reflect really well. I know they are pretty expensive, so you could always, if you decide to get the instructions and build this yourself, you can always use light bluish gray. That still looks just as good. It still looks great with the light bluish gray instead of the shiny silver. But I think the shiny silver just looks really good, personally. We've got just a couple little gold accents. We have these 2 silver bands that go around the outside. Those are just decoration. We have some relief vents and exhaust vents at the bottom of the lightsaber. And the reason why we needed those is because at the very bottom is a miniature arc reactor that helps to power the lightsaber itself. And this was a fun addition to it, and the way that it actually works was inspired by my wife, who came in just a couple nights ago and said, hey, why don't you use a wheel on the bottom for your arc reactor instead of, here, I'll show you, instead of this whole assembly that I was using. It just didn't look good. Too many studs showing outwards and too many gaps. And she's like, oh, just use a wheel for the pommel. And then as I was putting it together and getting the arc reactor look, she said, you know, do you have any of those rubber Technic wheels that you could stick in there? And I'm like, oh my gosh, not only do I have one, but I have one of the ones from the Harry Potter Quidditch set that is the pearl gold. That will be perfect. And sure enough, I mean, that arc reactor at the bottom is one of the best arc reactor designs I've ever done, which is kind of sad because I've done a lot of them. All right, now it's time to get our kyber crystals inside the Iron Infinity Saber. Now, something else that I wanted to point out as well, if you get the instructions, is you'll notice that I have different shaped holes down in there. In the instructions, I use the 4x4 plate with 2x2 hole in it in square. And these work really well for a couple of the different kyber crystals. So as you look right here, you'll notice that some of them are different shaped. So we have this, I call this the fat one, my yellow one. And then I call this one the medium one. They're both pretty big and they both fit really well inside the square 2x2 holes there. But then if I show you these side by side, you can see that the white one is much skinnier. It's more pointed, almost spear-like. And if you're going to have one of those, one of these really pointy ones, you're actually going to want to use 4x4 round plates with 2x2 round holes. And that gives it just a little bit tighter seal on there and holds it in place a little bit better. So since you can look down inside there and see that I have 2 of the round holes and 4 of the square holes, I have 2 of the really skinny ones. It's my blue and my white kyber crystals. And then I can fit the other ones in any order I want. I can even switch the white and the blue. And so whichever direction or whichever order you would like your Infinity Saber kyber crystals to be arranged, you just need to be aware of that while you're putting it together. And I do have a little bit of the information in the instructions. It's probably not perfect. It's probably not a perfect descriptor, so hopefully people watch this video to know which version of those pieces to put in their kyber crystal or their kyber saber. Their Iron Infinity Saber. Sorry, it's another late night for me. All right, but that is it. The instructions for this build are available on rebreakable.com right now. And I'm really excited for this. I hope some of you are able to build this, and I hope even more of you have kyber crystals that you can put inside it. But either way, I'm really excited that I got to show this to you. I actually asked my patrons if I should postpone the transport vehicle that I have built and was teasing last week, and reveal this week. And they all said, absolutely, yes, we want to see this. We want to know what it is. We want to see how it works. So I hope you enjoyed it as much as I have. And until next time, I'm TJ the Brickwright. Play well. Bye.